Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, Lord. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voice, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed. Were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." The Gospel of the Lord. This story of the 10 lepers actually was an actual event of 10 lepers who accosted Jesus Christ with request for healing. And 10 of them were just healed like that, just immediately. They didn't pay anything, no waste of time. It was just, go and show yourself to the priest. And as they turned to leave, they discovered they were all healed. All of them. All of them. But only one person came back. And it was very touching for Jesus to use it to teach us something. It's always a classic example of gratitude. Big lessons for us. And Jesus himself taught this lesson, which means he must have realized something that we humans are lacking that could make us to be better, And so he taught us lessons about gratitude. Brothers and sisters, gratitude is not just thank you. It comes from the heart. It's not just lip service. It comes from the heart. And you realize that whenever you try to appreciate someone, it didn't come from your heart, then, if you can't even find the right words to say it, but when it came from your heart, even that simple word, thank you, will convey many messages. And so, from there, I say that gratitude is not just a physical event. It's a spiritual act. It's a deep spiritual reality for us to be appreciative, assess what we have gained, and say, wow, this is good. You must have done too many steps of thinking and introspection and the reflection for you to come to the conclusion that I have to do this. So gratitude could also be an act of holiness. It could be an act of holiness. It's not just physical. It may be a simple act, but it has a lot to say about a person, about you, about I, a lot about me, a lot to say. And so in this act of gratitude today, Jesus Christ is telling us that when we look into our life, we will find reason to be grateful for the source of our blessings, for the source of our gifts, for the source of our life. And we have many gifts from the one source, God. Let us not forget that. It's not just about thanking anybody. It's about thanking God, which we don't do every day. Jesus Christ said that this should be everyday act for us. Because every day we encounter these similar events in our life when God does something for us like these 10 lepers. How many times have we turned back? Remember, you have to turn back to go back to your source. But we have kept moving. That's the problem. We may say, okay, maybe later I will do that. Maybe those 9 saw Jesus Christ later and said, oh, Jesus Christ, you healed me 29th of January. Thank you. Maybe they did that after. We don't know. Because this was an instant teaching. Maybe the letter came back and said, oh, Jesus Christ, oh, thank you. You healed me. Thank you. No. It wasn't instant. It wasn't like immediately. So how many times have we said, okay, tomorrow I will do it. Next tomorrow I will do it. Oh, God blessed me last year. I was so happy. Have you thanked him? And amazingly, another person gave us big lesson in gratitude today. And that's the saint we are celebrating today. St. Francis Xavier Cabrini, the first canonized American saint. She was a nun. This lady tried to enter into 2 congregations. She was rejected. Out of nowhere, she formed her own congregation. Can you imagine that? I was wondering, how did she do it? She started the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And they did amazing work among people. Orphanages, hospitals, schools in the U.S., in America, precisely in Chicago area. I don't know where they have spread. But the fact was that this sister was sick. She had failing health. But she used her failing health to serve God. Therefore, gratitude is not just saying thank you by the word of mouth. It means your whole action. How are we trying to tell God, thank you for the gifts we have received? The gift of intellect, the gift of life, the gift of spirituality, the gift of worship. How are we using these in our life into practice? How are we saying, God, thank you for the wonderful gift of me to the world? How are you using yourself, your life, to praise God? May we look into ourselves and know that the best thanksgiving to God is the best use of ourselves. Realizing that we all are special gifts from God. In spite of our physical conditions, we may be sick, we may not have it all, but the much we have, may we use it to the utmost capability we should. And that is the sign of thanksgiving, like Sister Francis Cabrini did. May God help us as we appreciate his many gifts in our life.
Regina Celi, letare